hey, you're going to work for me. If you can't sell, I get rid of you, or you will get rid of yourself. But that's not the way to do it. I think we should
Right.
train
That
people,
there should be proper
educate them.
training.
There should be. You should,
Of course.
of course, cost a lot of money and time. But if you do that, the chances are that these salespeople will remain with you and develop with the company.
Loyalty.
Yeah,
it's-
exactly. You got to build it. Okay. So I'm saying that to begin with, we should not waste unnecessary time doing unnecessary thing which is not productive, both for yourself and for the customer. In most cases, I've heard customers say, this salesman is coming. He's a waste of my time. I wish he does not want to come. Okay.
Those are the close-minded people in the first place, right? I mean, why did they even make the appointments with you if they're already going to be thinking that way?
You know what? We are Asians. We like to be polite.
Okay.
We are very polite
So it's
people.
difficult for them to say no.
okay, no. See, but the problem is you'll never get to the decision maker. Let's
Okay.
say in a company, as an example, they'll send you to the purchasing department. Because you have one fella sitting there who knows how to say no.
Ah, right. So he's
and
trained.
that's it. But the problem is not the company. The problem is us. We do not find out details about the customer before we see them. If I walk into your place, Alex, as an example,
Okay.
and hit you with a note that says to you, "Wow, that's what I was looking for. Hey, I need that. Then the chances are we can have a conversation and eventually
Certainly.
get it. But if I come there with a blank and not knowing what I'm doing, okay, I know my product, but what do I know about the customer? Knowing my product is one thing, but whether my product fits into you or not, whether in fact is there a place for you to use a product, is like this. You must have the right product at the right time, at the right place, and with the right price.
How would you know that's the right time? I mean, all of this relates back to time management.
Absolutely.
Is any time the right time, or you just got to keep on
No.
playing the game?
First of all, you must do research on all customers.
And you have to be ready in terms of skill, or
You must find out about them,
Right.
read about them, look through the yellow pages. I don't know, diary, Google it, get information.
there's so
about
many
the
sources
company.
these days for
There's
us to
so
use.
many ways to find out.
Right. The resources
Facebook,
are there.
Twitter and what have you, or talk to friends. Do you know this company? There's many ways in which you can research and find out about the customer.
But a lot of sales companies, or a lot of companies that have salespeople, the way they play it out is like, if you want to get good at sales, you got to just practice and play the numbers, go through all the rejections, meet more people, and they're just telling you there's really no right time, but you just got to keep on going out there and meeting
Alexa,
people all the time.
It's like the old days. okay?
Yeah.
In the old days, the man sat in the bar and waited for his customer to come. And then that's how he did his selling in the 14th, 15th century. Today, people have little time. And because they have little time, they want to use it productively. See, what happens is that customers' data are available. It is available. But the problem is we are not taught how to research them. For instance, just to give you a simple example, okay? If you want to sell an iPhone, it'll be very difficult for you to sell it to a 60-year-old fellow.
Precisely.
But it is very easy to convince a 27-year-old fella that iPhone is good. You see the difference. Automatically, age plays a part. The younger you are receptive to things. That's a simple thing that you know already. Okay. Second of all, if I'm young, that means I'm willing to relook at things. I'm willing to look at changes. If I'm old, I'm stuck already. I've got a mindset of this is what I want. So that's why a good salesman, when he researches into the customer, the chances are he will be able to fit the need of the customer. And that, I think, is one of the basic problem why salespeople do not spend time productively. And to end this, let me say this, okay? See, first and foremost, salespeople must find a way to at least look at information, read the history of the customer. I'm sure every company has a history of the customers they do business with. And if you don't read the history, you really don't know. By history, I don't mean the number of times you bought or the number of volume of sales that you made, but rather, even if you have a range of product, if a customer is constantly buying a certain range of product, that gives you an indication, hey, this type of product he's using, maybe I should go there and find out how is he using the product.
Precisely.
How can I help to make it better? what are his replacement rate, and you can do so many things. Okay, if you go the same old way, you're not going to get anywhere.
I'm going to hold in on a thought. Dr. Vanguard will be coming back with more of this right after the top 5 news. This is The Lounge right here on Bernama Radio 24, and in the studio with me is Dr. Vanguard. We're doing part 2 of improving your sales by managing your time. And right now we're moving on to the next question, Dr. Vanguard. Knowing that a salesperson is based on results, some tend to take on too many clients, biting off more than they can chew, or just being over ambitious, and at the end of the day they are overwhelmed with too many clients at the same time, thus not being able to handle. How do they manage this?
Okay, Alex, see, the first thing we must understand, in a day there are so many hours, and within the number of hours I can see number of people. My view in the last 73 years of my life, I've seen this, okay? A salesperson must make a minimum of 6 calls a day. We spoke about it last week
during part 1.
If I can see 6 calls a day, then in a week I can see approximately 30 calls a week.
Okay.
120 calls a month. If I have to see this customer once a month, that means I can only have a maximum of 120 customers if I see them once. But
Right.
that's a limitation. Okay, if for instance I have to see the customer once in 2 months, then I can have double that, 240 customers. So that's a limitation. So it's related very much to time. How many calls I make a day, a week, a month, and based on that, and how often do I see them? If I have to see a customer every week, as an example, then you see I can't have more than 30 customers. Now, it's foolish of us to try to think I'm going 2,000 customers. No, it's what can you manage, and how often do you want to see the customer?
But there
That's
are
the first
some
question.
people with thousands of customers out there, I believe.
Then they're not effective at all. You see,
Right.
you have to find another way to deal with them or to communicate with them.
Perhaps it
Because-
could be like sales managers to get executives, doctor, and but then the personalized effect has
see,
been minimalized as well.
Even though I'm a sales manager, as an example, I have 5 people. These 5 people that go out on the street, they can make 6 calls.
Right.
And if I want them to see the customers every week, then the limitation is only 30. They can't see more than 30. If 30 people, no? They can have 30 new customers every week. That means what he is doing is that you are constantly looking out for new customers. You've forgotten the old ones. And that's how you lose customers too. So the number of customers you handle will depend largely on your ability. You can't see 10 calls a day. That's impossible. In fact, 6 is about the maximum.
Okay.
6 calls a day. In that way, you have to divide. How often do I want to see the customer? Some customers, you need to see them every week. Some you see them once in 2 weeks. Some you see them once a month. And some you see them only 6 months once. Accordingly to that, you then put your customer base there, and that's the total number of customers I can handle. Of course, over time, you will drop some and you will add on some. Meaning that when you have found out that this customer is not, well, he doesn't need my product now or my service now, let me put him on hold. Let me put him on a prospect list, but carry on looking
There's
for newer
potential
ones.
to possibly
Yeah,
sell
exactly.
this in the future.
I learned this a long time ago, no? Okay, nowadays they do it differently. You know, you take in the old days, when you take a bunch of paddy, paddy, you beat it on the way you remove the rice from the paddy would be to swing it on some board or some kind of wood,
I'm not very familiar with this technique.
When you do it once, 80 to 90% of the rice will fall off,
Okay.
If you keep doing it and keep doing it, you put so much effort, the amount that's coming out is so little.
Okay.
So it's the 80-20 rule, meaning that you need to be very clear of the number of customers you want to see. Your purpose are defined very clearly, and how often do you see them? What is the purpose of a visit? Every single visit that you make, you must have a purpose. Without an objective, then the time will be wasted again.
Exactly.
So
Especially when you have so many clients, you just need to
Exactly.
really allocate your time and
Exactly.
focus on your,
But
because
if
your
you-
time is money now.
okay, I also believe this. No, say you buy a car from a salesman, car salesman's example.